Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies. We're sisters who discuss all things related to work, family, and personal growth.
We draw inspiration from everywhere, especially from you, our listeners, to keep moving forward with joy and laughter and the big adventure that is life.
1 week at a time.
I'm Azizi Williams. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a mom of 2, soon to be an empty nester, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. I'm here with my sister, Malika Amandi.
That's me. I'm a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a newish mom, also of 2, and I work in higher ed. In this episode, we do a big catch-up about the last couple of weeks.
But first, Malika, I saw the F1 movie.
You did. I know. I'm jealous. I want to see it too. How was it?
It was so good in the cheesiest, most American movie way. It was a completely predictable and also very delightful.
That's good. I think Liz and Sarah talking about popcorn, buttered popcorn feeling.
Yes. Had the buttered popcorn and actually I like going to a movie by myself. The older I get, the more I like doing things by myself. And I was excited to take myself out and buy myself popcorn and picked out my seat. It was so fun. And Brad Pitt and we go way back. We've talked about this before,
course.
right? I got to support Brad Pitt. So
if you don't support Brad Pitt, he might not make it.
I know. He's counting on me, actually, to show up and buy one ticket to his movie. He was Brad pitting it up. He's fantastic. And I love the sounds. I like the music. It was so fun to see all the cameos, a bunch of them, not all of them, but a bunch of the actual F1 drivers are featured in different parts of the movie and the principals. And it just felt like getting even deeper into that world. So I'm already looking forward to F1 the movie 2 and F1 the movie 3. I'm sure they're coming probably next year.
That's funny. Well, I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad that you're in the F1 world. I introduced you to it, but you've gone deeper, Azizi. You've passed me.
No, that's wild. You know me.
I still feel proud. Yeah.
This is all you. But now I feel like I could take a rest because I need to wait for the next season of Netflix to come out, the Drive to Survive. So now I can take a rest after this movie that ends the season. Let's just say that.
That's great. Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready-to-go online cart.
Ooh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family-friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Our first segment is Let's Catch Up. And this is going to be our second segment as well, where we share something with each other that we've been thinking about lately.
Malika, the thing that we have been thinking about is your birth. And I think it's time that we catch up a little bit on how things went and hear more about that life phenomenon. Let's hear
Yes,
More
my
about it.
giving birth.
Yeah, let's hear just about all of that.
All right.
How did you feel going into the birth, and what did you do to prepare?
Well, it's been a journey. I've talked about it on this on this very podcast, a lot of different aspects of being pregnant and whatnot. But I think in terms of thinking about the birth itself, I had with Indigo's birth, there was a lot of kind of chaos and trauma due to some medical issues and different hospital things. And it wasn't a very positive experience for me. I'll just say that as a catch all. And so that really informed going into this situation. I was very conscious about how I wanted to approach it and, tried to really communicate that to my doctors. And we worked with a doula the last time who was incredible. And so I made sure to kind of engage her early on so that she could be a part of the mix. And one of the things that was really important to me was to have a scheduled C-section. Now, there's a lot of risk factors and reasons why somebody would or wouldn't have a C-section, but I was very confident, I would say, about why I wanted one. And my doctor was supportive of that. Going into this, we're expecting a different experience, something new, different hospital planned. I worked all of the when are you coming around this specific date? When are mommy and daddy coming?
Right.
Helping them with their housing arrangements all around this date. And I'd say as things progressed, just in my pregnancy, maybe late in the third trimester, it was clear that I couldn't go through with being at the hospital that I wanted to, with the doctor that I wanted to, which was quite disappointing because I was having low platelets, which is a thing that can happen to people during pregnancy. It's happened to me before, but it had gotten to a point where I needed to be at a hospital that had more resources. And it also meant that there was a possibility I couldn't have the C-section. So that was like a late in the game evolution.
Yeah, that was really disappointing, and that was a lot to have to manage a whole different vision for how the birth was gonna go than what you had planned.
It really was. I had to do a lot of mind self-coaching because
Yeah,
for 8.5 months, I had been kind of thinking things were going to be in a certain way and excited about that and advocating for it and all of this. And then it just kind of came to a point where it wasn't so realistic for that to be a sure thing.
right,
And I'm interacting with a doctor I've never met who's maybe going to do the birth. And they're kind of like, yeah, this is not a good plan. This
right.
is, I hear you that you
Right.
want this. And there's these issues. And so I was working on that and pivoting. I've been doing this program called Hypnobabies, which is under this category called hypnobirthing, which is all about using self hypnosis to be in a very relaxed state so that you can breathe more. And a lot of people use it for natural birth. I used it with Indigo, and it was so helpful to me, especially in a chaotic situation, that I was very much wanting to do that again this time. So there's been audio tracks I've been listening to pretty much for the whole pregnancy about C-sections and what to expect and visualizing. So I switched to the other audio tracks,
New playlist.
literally go through my phone and find the old tracks.
That's funny.
So those were some of the things I was doing to prepare.
What else helped you prepare?
I think this is the one that's a little bit weird. So I got really into watching medical dramas.
Hmm,
And this is counter to what most people would say. It's very counter to the hypnobabies approach. You're supposed to be very conscious about what you're letting in and not fixating on dramatic situations going bad or depictions of birth that are negative. And I kind of knew that, but I also watched The Pit, and that was really exciting and satisfying.
that's way too exciting for me.
And I just needed something more. So I've been watching The Resident, and it was fulfilling this really something primal inside of me. I don't know. I couldn't stop watching it.
What is The Resident? Can you explain it?
Not to be confused with The Residence.
Which is what I thought you were talking. It's like, how is someone solving mysteries in the White House helping the yeah.
The Resident
The Resident.
is a medical drama that's set in a hospital in Atlanta, and it's about
Mm.
residents and attendings like the hierarchy of people who are working in a hospital.
I see. Is it like an upstairs, downstairs situation?
Not so much, though it does get more into the like business of a hospital and how that impacts the doctors.
Right.
It's like an ER or Grey's Anatomy, one of those.
Okay. So how did this help you?
There's a lot of operating rooms. Every episode, pretty much somebody's going into surgery.
Mm.
There happen to be, different storylines about people who are pregnant, things happening to them. And I think it kind of, in a weird way, desensitized me a little bit
Hmm.
and just got me very comfortable with seeing these medical things play out. I'll circle back to how that helps in my birth experience. I think something else that was helpful was packing early, and I didn't pack early enough because
No.
it didn't fully pack.
It was like a few days before we're starting to gather
Right.
things together.
In my mind, though, that was like 2 weeks early.
Right. That's true.
So I thought I was packing 2 weeks ahead of time. I was actually packing 2 days before, but I had been making a list. I had watched YouTube videos about what to pack. So I was like getting there and starting to put stuff together, sourcing things. It was just like not all in the bag yet.
Right.
But we did bring a lot of stuff. We used the wagon,
Yes.
which was hilarious because it was funny. We were in the elevator at the hospital and there was another couple kind of looking at us. They were pregnant and they had like a tote bag with a Stanley cup in it. Like, we had a wagon and a suitcase and a big backpack and a doula who had her suitcase and her backpack. And I had no shames. Like, yep, we're doing it. This is
You
our
guys were
style.
checking into the hotel now. Describe what you brought for the nurses because I thought this was next level.
So we had a box of chips and Lindt chocolates, granola bars, like gummy bears, all these different snacks, which I didn't execute to the level I really wanted to, but we still brought them and distributed most of them. But I had had visions of like making a little basket that we would give to the nurses station in each place, which we did with Indigo, and that was very appreciated. Anyway, that didn't quite work.
Some people got snacks.
Some people got snacks and were happy about it.
Yes.
I think those are most of the plans and the preparations that we had in place.
And so when did you know it was go time?
So I started having contractions like at 6 in the morning. And what's funny is like that night, a little bit earlier, I was sleeping on the couch because I was uncomfortable and I'd been having insomnia.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to one of the Hypno Babies tracks. There's actually a track called Baby Come Out, where you're like meditating on like, you're ready, checking in with the baby. Are you ready? Like, is there anything you need to tell
This is
me?
funny because your birthday was a few days before and you were like, I cannot have the baby on my birthday. So I will start the meditations after my birthday.
Exactly. I was very much like, I feel like physically I'm tired of being pregnant. I'm ready to move on. And yet I can't imagine 2 birthdays on the same day for the rest of our lives. That felt like, oh my gosh, that would be miserable. But because of the like heightened stakes of the medical situation, I felt like, well, if the baby comes spontaneously, maybe that's better
Yeah.
because there were a lot of things up in the air about my platelets and having a scheduled C-section. So I was kind of like, okay, come earlier the better. Not too early, but after my birthday, I'm going to start doing these natural induction, whatever, anything. Drinking the tea, or
Right.
I was trying to get a massage.
Yes. You were trying to get a massage, get your nails done, and get your hair done. All
Exactly.
that.
I wanted everything in place. So anyway, I listened to this track, Baby Come Out, whatever, which is not a magic trick or anything. Obviously, the baby has to be ready, but it is interesting that I listened to that. And then hours later, it started having contractions. So the hospital I was transferred to is in Boston, which is 2 hours away, basically.
Yeah.
We weren't sure like how soon we should go. We checked in with the doctors there and they were kind of like, it's up to you. Early labor can take a really long time. If you can get seen by somebody closer. So I was able to go to my doctor here and she was like, go, you should go. She did an exam and was like, it's early, but you are starting to dilate. Like, I think you should go. You don't have to rush, but go home, get your stuff, go to Boston. So we came home. That was the like mad dash to finish packing
Right.
and like pull everything together from
Yes.
all the corners of the house.
Right.
We did it. Shout out to Norm for carrying all of the stuff everywhere.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff.
Our doula lives in our part of town, so we all caravan together. And on the way to Boston, they started getting more intense, the contractions. So I was actually, this is one of the things I like about Hypno Babies. They give you a playlist to listen to, like on the birthing day. So you just kind of follow the instructions of like what to listen to next. And it's giving you all these affirmations and breathing things. So I totally just kind of went into the zone. And we got to the hospital like around 1, between 12:30 and 1. And I think with the Hypno Babies, like I was very calm, which is good. Also, sometimes I think is hard for the nurses to tell what's really going on.
Right.
You don't
Mhm.
seem like you're in
You're
labor.
not screaming and yelling things.
Exactly. And so
Right.
they're kind of like, you might want to go for a walk, the pedal boats, like
Oh, wow.
check back in later.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I think this is it. And they monitored me for a little bit and it was still like, you might want to get a nice dinner. And like, do you want to be examined? I was like, yeah, I think that would be good. And I was like, oh, she's 3 to 4 centimeters already.
Hmm.
Okay, we can admit you. I was like, okay,
Right.
good. And then they started picking up the contractions. I did start making sound and looking more like a person in labor. But basically, we were moving forward with a natural birth plan. So in the like 30 minutes that we were in the triage room, the doula was like, so do we have a birth plan? Like we hadn't gotten to writing things down
Oh,
because
wow. Yeah. You had planned on the C-section.
exactly. And things were just evolving. It was going to be like, okay, I think the next day I had a doctor's appointment where I was gonna kinda try to nail things down and what I wanted.
Right.
So, fortunately, I had a birth plan from Indigo handy.
What kinds of things are on a birth plan, Malika?
So, it talks about kind of your preferences of, like, do you want an epidural, Pitocin, like, what kind of medications you want, directed pushing or not, like, how you want the staff to interact with you when you're in labor,
I see.
what things you want or don't want for the baby after they're born. There's a lot of different things that can be varied or modified
Okay.
in a non-emergency situation. So it's
Right. There's
like
a lot of questions and choices that you can make.
exactly.
I
So
see.
this is like presenting them ahead of time so that everybody's aware. Because whatever the hospital default is might not be what you actually want or
Right.
something. So I had the old form that we had with Indigo. And this was like a cute Etsy template that I hired somebody to make with graphics. And we were just like
Wow.
writing on it and cross this out, circle this. And they were like, great. Okay, this works. So started out as a natural birth and it got very intense very quickly. I'll just say we arrived at the hospital at 1-ish. Quincy was born at 4:21 p.m. that same day.
Wow. A few hours later.
Yes. It was really good that we went when we did go.
Yeah.
With the natural birth, the baby's heart rate started to go down and kind of kept going down really quickly. And so they had to pivot. That was when it became like, okay, we need to do emergency C-section.
Right.
And even though my platelets were good enough to do kind of an epidural, at that point, it was like the urgency of the situation required that they put me under general anesthesia, which is one of the things they were trying to avoid all along.
Right.
So that was quite intense. But again, in the operating room, I feel like I knew what they were talking about because of watching The Resident. Like I could hear them chattering and figuring things out, and it didn't feel that unfamiliar to me.
That's crazy. But you were not conscious.
I mean, until they gave me the anesthesia, I was conscious.
I see. Like all the leading up to it stuff.
Exactly.
And Norm wasn't there, right?
Norm wasn't there and the doula wasn't there. So I was on my
Wow.
own.
Were you still listening to Hypno Babies?
No, no, no. There was
Oh,
nothing.
okay.
No, no, no.
Wasn't sure if you could go in with AirPods. No?
It was just like, no.
Okay.
But I had the phrases in my head. There's
Yes.
cues. I was using those to
Yeah.
relax, help my body
Yeah.
relax. So wake up in a different room. Norm is there, the doula's there. They show me the baby. Norm still doesn't know if it's a boy or a girl because when they handed it to him, they didn't tell him. And the doula's like, "Why don't you wait?
Oh,
Let's do the reveal together with Malika,"
and the
which
baby
is
was all
great.
wrapped up.
Yes.
That's so funny. So this is when Norm calls me because we're like on pins and needles. We have no
Yeah.
idea what's going on. And I know you, and I know we're not going to hear until you're ready for us to hear. Like, there's not going to be any updates along the way. I have to talk mommy and daddy down. Like, how come she hasn't called? Like, Malika's in the zone and she's not going to call us until she's ready. So Norm called to say that you had a C-section and you had the baby and you were, getting ready to come out. And we're like, "Oh my God, what is it?" He's like, "I don't know yet." We're waiting for Malika. And we're like, "Oh."
I'm so
So,
glad. I mean, not that you guys were on pins and needles, but, like, that's the moment you want, is, like, when the baby is born and you get to see and it's this big thing, and, like,
yes.
because I was out, like, I didn't get to see any of that,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was nice to have a little bit of that element of surprise. So Norm unwrapped it and I was like, "It's a boy." And then over the next few hours, I just felt terrible, which I thought was normal because I've
Right,
never had a C-section before.
right.
But I was kind of in and out, very foggy, didn't feel like stable enough to hold the baby. Apparently, my blood pressure was dropping. I had lost a lot of blood during the operation. The doula was checking in with me about how was I feeling, and she suspected, based on the sensations that I was describing, the doula suspected that I had internal bleeding.
Right.
And I have to say about my doula, like, she's also a midwife. She wasn't my midwife, but she has that background,
Yeah.
and she's been at over, like, 700 births. So she's seen a lot. And she said she's only seen this one other time, but it was very similar to what I was experiencing. And so she was really, like, advocating that they look again. Like, "Have you looked everywhere? Have you looked at this part?" Which they're a medical team, like, they knew what they were doing, but I
Yeah.
think because she was really clear and insistent that they kind of gave it a second look. And based on other factors, of course, my stats and things that weren't shifting, it was clear like, "Oh, something's going on," and my blood pressure was dropping, and so I was kind of out of it, just, like, very foggy, and then it was like, "Okay, we've gotta take you back in. Gotta put you under general anesthesia again. We need to do another surgery." Then I was leaving the room,
Yeah.
and it was very sudden is what I wanna say.
Yeah,
Very
unexpected.
unexpected, sudden.
Disappointing.
But I gotta say, the team at MGH, they were so respectful and so caring, and, like, the anesthesiologist was saying, "We got you, like, we're gonna take care of
Wow.
you." A lot of them were
Yeah.
saying that to me.
Aw.
Even in this state, before they put me under and I'm hearing them say what they're saying, like, I don't know if it was the OB, somebody who was leading the room was like, "Okay, everybody, let's take a moment and really talk through what it is we're gonna do and our approach." It was
Wow.
just, like, good team. I hate it's like, it was good leadership.
Good leadership in that room right before you were out.
Totally.
That's amazing. Good leadership is everywhere. It makes a
Good
difference.
leadership is everywhere.
That's amazing.
Clearly a team, there were different
Yes.
teams. There were, like, 2 or 3 people working just on the anesthesia side. There were a
Right.
team that were, like, it was like they were communicating well and functioning well.
Well,
And
that's
that's
good. I mean, but also this is the second time,
I
like,
know,
now they really have to get it together?
I know, yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I wake up in a different room,
Wow.
and this is where the resident really comes in, okay? So
Okay.
I wake up, I had a breathing tube in.
Mm,
When you wake up, you try to start talking right away, and they're like, "No, no, no, don't talk, because you can't really talk with this in, and they have to remove it, but it's very
yeah.
uncomfortable." But immediately, because they said breathing tube, I knew, because I've watched this happen on the show hundreds of times,
Yeah.
that I knew what was going on. It wasn't scary to me. And
Wow.
somehow I started doing, like, sign language is easy
You just
to, like,
channeled some sign language?
well, I've seen it on the show with
Oh,
people when they have
wow.
a breathing tube in or, like, things to say if you need water or food
Yeah.
or, like, I was doing these things,
Wow.
which was just like, what?
It's so cool because that's not part of the typical training or prep for giving birth to a baby, is what
No,
to do if you have a breathing tube down your throat.
not at all. Not at all. So I
That's
felt really
amazing.
validated in my hours and hours of watching 6 seasons as a resident.
It's a good lesson.
And Norm was there, and I felt so much better than I did coming out
Oh,
of
immediately.
totally different, way
Yeah.
more alert, like,
Yeah.
so there was something wrong before, but I just didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
So I was in the ICU overnight,
Yeah.
and then the next day was able to reunite with the baby who did not have a name yet.
Well, let me just jump in
And
and say, while we got the update from Norm, don't know what the baby is. You were coming out of delivery. We get another update from Norm that it's a boy and that you're recovering, but there might be something wrong.
Hmm,
And then they're gonna take you back in. And I think this was, like, at 11 p.m. or something like that. I was going to bed, and that's, like, the most devastating thing you can hear at any point, but also
yeah,
just knowing what Norm is holding, and he's an upbeat, he always tries to be upbeat
very
about things,
positive.
like, he's a very positive guy, and I could tell he was tired, but also trying to be positive and trying to downplay any danger, but I know you're not supposed to go back into surgery, like, and so I was trying to sleep and then just like, "I can't sleep, I'm not gonna sleep," and honestly, Malika, what I was thinking was like, "Oh my god, you can't die, there can't be one happier lady, there's gotta be 2 happier ladies, like, none of it works with 1, this would be terrible," and so I was up all night and I, texted mommy and daddy because I was giving them the updates, and so they were praying for you, and it was a hard night to get through, not knowing what was going on. And then we did get an update, or I got an update, I think it was like 7 a.m. or something the next morning that you were recovering from that surgery and things were looking better. But ooh, that was a rough night.
I can't imagine because I was in it.
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about that. You know, I was really like
No, you
moment
weren't
to
thinking
moment,
about anything. You were thinking about the resident.
right? But like
As you should be.
on the other side, how scary that is. And like for Norm, he's been in this situation now with our 2 children like
Yeah.
multiple times with birth
Yes.
experiences and
Yes.
pregnancy loss. And, there've been several points where it was like not clear. So I'm amazed and grateful that you guys could all hold that positive energy and light and hope for me.
Yeah, of course.
The rest of the hospital visit was like recovering from this surgery or trying to recover from this double abdominal surgery situation. So recovering, kind of being like in that place where you can't move physically and that journey. I feel like I could talk about that at a different time, but bonding with Quincy and kind of figuring out what to name him from a short list.
Yeah. Tell us about the name.
We really like Quincy Jones. We talked
Yes.
about Quincy
That's
Jones
so
in our
awesome. I love that. I mean,
yeah,
greatest night in pop. Come on.
right? We had some other names, but at the end of the day, it felt like, yeah, we like what Quincy Jones represents. So we're thinking
Yeah.
about creativity, collaboration, music,
Leadership.
that leadership.
Yes.
Those are great values. And we like the way the name sounds. So Xander, the middle name. The Z is a shout out to you, Auntie Z.
Oh.
And then Norm's last name before we got married was Anderson. And so I wanted to incorporate that. Yeah. So the hospital stay after those scary moments was positive. We had 4th of July there. We had like our room literally overlooked the Charles River where there's a big 4th of July celebration.
You guys
So
had
that
the
was
best
pretty fun.
view. Like, even without the fireworks, it was an
It was a nice
amazing view of
view.
the city, and then with the fireworks display was, like, so special.
Yeah. So we lucked out in that regard, or that balances out some some of the
The
other
hard things.
unlucky parts.
They were celebrating the birth of your child. And there will always be fireworks now associated with his birthday, right?
Yeah, it's very close to 4th of July.
Yeah.
That's the play-by-play from my perspective.
we're going to end the story right there. And next week, we're going to talk more about what life has been like with two boys. And you'll get to hear my perspective as Auntie Z doing things at home while Malika was away. And there's just lots more to share. So we're going to talk more about that next week. So let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll transition to peaks and valleys.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Okay, we're back with peaks and valleys because in life, there are always peaks and always valleys. It's an odd episode, so Malika's up with a peak.
My peak goes to the nursing staff and the doctors at MGH Hospital in Boston. That's not where I regularly go or have ever received care before, but it is an incredible world-class institution.
Wow.
And I just have to acknowledge how taken care of I felt, how respectful everybody was. It was clear people love working there, which is not something you see everywhere.
Hmm.
And the number of doctors who stopped by to check in on how I was doing and say, "I'm so sorry this happened to you. Is there any questions I can answer? Do you need to debrief anything?" Like,
Wow.
really high level doctors were coming in to have that conversation with me. And so I was so grateful for that. And I think it really impacted my experience. I felt like I went through something traumatic, but I don't feel traumatized, which is, I think, in huge part because of the way I was communicated with and taken care of throughout. And that's just like directly a credit to the people working there.
That's fantastic.
Azizi, what is your valley?
Well, my valley is that I have to leave. I've had
Oh,
a lovely, eventful, exciting stay.
I'm so
And
glad that's your valley and not your peak.
it is
I didn't know.
my peak next time might be related. But it's true. I mean, I've been on TZ. I've really gotten to be in the life of Indigo and of Quincy, and we've gotten into a rhythm here. So I am sad to leave, but happy that Mommy and Daddy and Aunt Arlene are staying behind a little bit longer. And then Ilea will be up soon for a little bit. So more families coming through.
Yes, I'm glad. Oh my goodness, Azizi, you've been so helpful. It's been incredible just relying on you and having peace of mind that Indigo is totally taken care of and
Well,
mostly whatever.
maybe
He's
not
fine.
totally enough. He's fine. He's fine.
But it was not even something I had to question.
No,
So
that's true.
really grateful.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description. If you like us, please rate, review, and tell a friend. And don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com. All right, Malika, have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Azizi. Bye.
Bye.
I think...
Go ahead.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.